Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm sorry for the sound. Okay, good. I'm glad you all can hear me. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all for introducing yourselves in the chat. We are going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to change my screen over to our agenda. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to go back on mute while I change my screen over. Okay, so on your screen, you should see our agenda. I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Dewana McCrary, and I am your presenter for this morning. On behalf of PTD Technology, we'd like to welcome you to our fall data entry training. We also have in the chat Diana Terry, who you may see her name pop up a little bit. She's going to help monitor our chat this morning, so we'd like to say good morning to her. So we're going to go ahead and go through the points that we're going to cover in this training today. So the first point that we're going to do is our introduction. We always like to go over our support resources and PTD contact information. So we're going to go to our knowledge base, and that is support.ctis.com. And we're going to go over our support resources. So that's going to be the first point that we cover. The second point that we're going to cover is our how to verify and input our data. So we know we're preparing for our fall data entry submission that's coming up. So you need to submit your fall course and staff data to your CPID administrator. This is building reporters. You need to submit your fall course and staff data by October 12th to your CPID administrator, and then that CPID administrator will submit to OCTE by October 19th. So we're going to go over the fall enrollment task overview, just some of the things that you need to be doing to get prepared for that submission. The third item that we're going to cover is validation and submission. We say validation a lot, run the validation, so we'll explain what that means, and then we're going to show how to submit your reports. So you'll be all set to go for that October 12th and then that October 19th if you're a CPID administrator. We're going to go to the second page. The fourth topic we're going to discuss is our CTEIS data review tools. Once you put your information or your data into CTEIS, it generates reports and exports that you can view. So we'll show you where all of that information is, and this information may be helpful as you go closer to the spring collection, and we'll go over those processes as we're looking forward to the spring. We know that for fall course and staff, the fall data entry is just fall course and staff data, but for spring, you have a number of other things that are due. So I'll show you some review tools that you can use to help with your data entry and your submission. So we'll look over that. And then the last point we're going to go over is our looking ahead. We have our fall course and staff collection due date. Expenditures training begins October 3rd. So if you have not registered for an expenditures training session, you want to do that. The next training session is if you're a fiscal agent or a CPID administrator. We have training sessions, but I'll show you where all of the training dates can be found and where you can see all of the training resources. So we're going to go over to our support site where you can find that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to navigate and share my screen showing the knowledge base at support.ctis.com. So just give me a few seconds, and once I'm on support.ctis.com, I'll take you through all of the topics that we talked about. And then we're going to go into our demonstration a little bit later in the training. So just give me a second to get to support.ctis.com, and it should show up on your screen in just a moment. So this is our knowledge base at support.ctis.com. I'll put it in the chat here. And this is where you can find all of the information that I'm going over today, our agenda, as well as the reference documents that I'm going to show in just a minute. But if you scroll down under this Explore Documentation section, these are links that will link you to all of the training documentation or all of the reference documents that we're going to go over. We're going to show those links in just a second. If you look over to your far right, down this panel right here, this is all of the due dates that are coming up. As I stated, the fall course and staff collection is here, the expenditure report, the follow-up report. This is just here for your convenience. This information mirrors what was provided by OCTE for as far as the due dates for the collections. So if you have that calendar, it's the same information, but this is just here for your use while you're in the knowledge base. So the first link we're going to show is the enrollment. It can also be found by going to the data entry at the top of the tab here and then go into enrollment. So this is our enrollment, and it has all of our reference documents here for our enrollment periods. This is new user information. If you did not attend new user training, you can find new user information, reference documents, and videos in this link. But today we're going to go to fall task presentation. So I'm going to click this. So this is the fall task, and what we mean by that is this is all of the information we feel is useful for you to submit your fall course and staff data. So this is all of the documentation that I'm going to be covering in training today. This top half here is the support information. So we're going to go through these topics as far as your support. The next topic is verify and input your data. So this is reference guides on how to manage courses, how to manage staff. As you go forward, again, for your fall data entry, you only need course and staff information, but going forward towards the enrollment collection that's due in the spring, you would need to input students and enrollments. Migrant students may be maybe something that you have to input if that applies to you. And then this is instructional videos on the above topics. Again, for the spring collection, you would have to enter work-based learning as well as credentials. And then this is training videos that will cover these topics as well. Once you input all of your data according to the reference documents here, it's time for you to validate and submit your data. So this is a documentation that tells you how to submit your data and run the validation. And then this is how to review CTEIS reports. If you need to ever look at instructional designs of courses, if you need to review course information for program expectations, there's a document here that shows you all of the reports that are available, the reports and exports that are available for data review. And then down here at the bottom, again, it's just additional training videos, same training videos that can be found in these tabs here. It's just here again for your convenience. This here is the training agenda that I was just showing earlier this morning in the training. So if you want to refer back to the agenda, that link is here. And then once we end the training session, I am recording the training. That this webinar will be available by clicking this link once we post this video. So this is available in all of the modules. So if you go back to the home page of enrollment, if you didn't catch the new user presentation, there are videos available there. And then as we go forward into the spring, the same would apply for those training sessions. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go on this first link, which is support and assistance. Okay, so this is our support and assistance document. This just breaks down all of the support. While you're putting in your data, know that help is always available. And if you need technical help, you want to contact the CTEIS Help Desk. And what the CTEIS Help Desk does is provide technical support and may be able to answer questions related to how do I navigate CTEIS.com, how do I import student records, how do I send completed records to the Office of Career and Technical Education. Those are that we can answer questions, or the help desk can answer questions of a technical nature. So while you're in the CTEIS application, if you run into any trouble, please feel free to reach out to the help desk. That information is available. The email as well as the telephone number is available here. So feel free to use that information for technical questions. If you have questions regarding policy, and that could be how do I set up my classes for reporting purposes, or am I allowed to begin my follow-up surveys early? So any questions related to due dates, if you need extensions, if you have questions regarding your class setup or your class structure, those are policy questions, and you need to direct those questions to OCTE. And the representative for OCTE is Joan Church. And you can contact her by calling her. The telephone number is here, or by email. And her email address is here. You may find that you can find some of the answers to the questions by visiting the OCTE website. So this is just another link to the website to give the information. So you may find your answers there as well. As we get into our reporting collections, expenditures, follow-up, if you have expenditure questions, again, policy-related questions, you would direct those to Joan Church. Her information is there again for expenditures. And then going forward for follow-up, if you have follow-up reporting policy questions, for those questions, you want to direct them to Inchin E, and her email as well as her telephone number is available as well. This next section here just outlines again the knowledge base, and it's available at support.cetis.com. You go further down the YouTube channel. Again, I stated that we record our webinars as well as training videos. They are all posted to our YouTube channel. If you want to follow the channel, all you have to do is type CTEIS into the search field and you can access all of the videos, but we do post the videos to our knowledge base, so you don't have to do that. Again, all of those videos are available at support.cetis.com and you can access those there. The last section here is listserv. If you have not signed up to receive emails, this is how we communicate the information to you. So you want to reach out to Jackie Martinez, and her email address is found on the bottom of this document, and ask to be included in the listserv. And this is where we would communicate information pertaining to system updates, newsletters, any type of communication we want to get to you. This is how we do that. So if you have not signed up to be included on the listserv, please do so. This next document is here for your, again, for your reference. This just outlines the collection periods. If you have a building reporter role, the average building level reporter will focus on completing 3 reports throughout the course of the year. That is enrollments, expenditures, and follow-up. And when you're collecting your data for CTEIS reporting, for enrollment specifically, you want to receive your class instructional design from staff. And that instructional design could be provided by a CTE instructor or a teacher. So if you get that information, you want to enter that information into CTEIS and verify that you have the effective design structure by verifying that information with teachers. You want to enter all available courses and student information. Printing student class lists might be helpful in reviewing that information to make sure that you're inputting correct data. We've mentioned the process of running the validation to check for errors, and I'll show you where that is once we get into our demos a little bit later in this training. Going forward towards our spring collection, you want to address all UIC and MSDS data issues. So once you start putting in student information, you may find that you have errors. So you need to find out what those errors mean. So you want to make sure that you get all of the correct information. Again, just verifying your entries. We really specify verifying and putting in accurate data. And then once we get to the expenditures, again, expenditures training starts in October, but that expenditure report, I believe, is due the end of October or the beginning of November. I'll show you in just a minute, complete in November. So yeah, you want to enter and validate all expenditures. And then in November, the beginning of October, follow-up is when follow-up starts. So this is just a breakdown here. Enrollment begin in September with your fall course collection. You complete that collection in October. Looking ahead to spring, that including work-based learning credentials is all due in June. So your enrollments, your credentials, your work-based learning, all of that is due in June. Your expenditures begin in September, so you begin collecting your fund information, and then you complete that report in November. Follow-up begins in October, so you begin surveying your students that have left, the concentrators and also completers, and then you turn in that report in January. Just want to go over the primary goals of CTEIS. The primary goals, number 1 is to collect enrollment data to determine 61A1 and 61B fund distribution. You want to collect data required for the federal Perkins reporting and for calculations of the Perkins Core Performance Indicators, also referred to as CPIs. The secondary goals is to link your CTE data, information housed within the MSDS, and then monitor the effectiveness of CTE programs. So that's the purpose of CTEIS and the roles and functions. CTEIS is an application that you do not need to install or have any updates for. It's a web-based application. So this information down here on the bottom is just explaining you can access CTEIS anywhere via computer. All of the information will be reported to the state and it's housed within CTEIS, and you do not need to back up files. So this is just an outline of CTEIS and the reporting periods throughout the year. So we're going to go to the next. This here is something that we cover in our new user training, and this just outlines the roles. So if you're new to your role, if you're a CPID administrator, just gives a brief description of what's required, as well as the fiscal agent, the building reporter. If you have an expenditures data entry role, this is a brief description of that, as well as the follow-up data entry role. So what I mean by that is if you're a building reporter, you may have access to input expenditure data as well as follow-up data. But this information is provided by your level 5 fiscal agent. So if you have questions about your access, if you have a role of expenditures or if you have a follow-up role, you need to contact your level 5 fiscal agent. They can answer all access questions. But if you do have those, again, this is how it breaks down. This here is just the roles and how building reporters transfer that information to their level 5 fiscal agent, who then transfer that information to the CPID, and then the CPID submits the documentation to OCTE. So for reporting periods, that's how the process works. It always comes from the building reporters who have the enrollment role or expenditures role or follow-up role, or you may have all three. But you will submit that report to your fiscal agent. So when you put your information into CTEIS, you're going to submit that to your fiscal agent. Once your fiscal agent receives that data, they're going to submit it to the CPID admin. And then once the CPID admin submits the data to OCTE, that's the collection period. So that's how that works. This is just terminology, just breaking down the geographic building, just give you definitions. If you see these codes, OB, OA, this is what they mean. This is for programming. It breaks down if you see zip code or PSN, you know what that means. So this documentation is here. And then this is just a graphical description of what I just described, your level 5 fiscal agent and all of the responsibilities that role has. And then the level 4, the level 3, 2, and 1. So again, CTEIS building reporters are granted access to individual buildings by the building's respective fiscal agent authorized official. So upon receiving proper access, reporters may view and enter information regarding the programs, courses, and students specific to that building. So when you log into CTEIS, the information that is in the system is what you're assigned to. And we'll get into that demonstration a little bit later. This is just a timeline, again, for your convenience, just to show, again, the reporting collection periods, the expenditures, the fall data, enrollment and completion, follow-up, and then the enrollment and completion in the spring. So it just kind of breaks down the roles and what's the purpose of doing this. So that's there if you want to review that. My login, to access CTEIS, you have to have my login. If you have not been granted my login information, you need to create a my login for third party account. And this is just how the steps on how to do that. So once you go to the my login for third party site, you fill in the information here. Once you fill in that information, you need to contact your level 5 fiscal agent and provide them with your user ID so that they can link your information in the system. Once that link is done, you can go to step 2 and finish the request access procedure. And then you should get a notification that your request is being processed. So this is just a breakdown if you still need to receive your credentials, your my login. Again, just another document explaining the support.ctis, just outlining what is on the site. Current due dates, again, just as was on the homepage of the support site, this is just a mirror of the OCTE calendar. So this just lets you know what's coming up. And now we're into our first section where we verify and input our data. So in preparation for the spring report, you are strongly encouraged to begin your data collection, entry, and validation as early in the school year as possible. So we want you to note for fall data entry, only course and staff data is required for this collection period. So this first document here outlines the fall enrollment task. So what you need to be doing right now is obtaining instructional design of courses. Again, your teachers and CTE administrators, if you're a building reporter, will provide this information to you. If you need to download a Perkins 4 or a Perkins 5 instructional design template, they can be found on our knowledge base, and there's a link here within this document. I'll show you where those design templates are as well. So I'm going to navigate out of this document and I'm going to go back for a second. We're going to go to the enrollment homepage. And over here in special collections, if you scroll down, this is Perkins 4 instructional design forms. And this is Perkins 4 that still uses segments. So this is a printout paper copy that you can use to fill out your course information, or again, can be filled out by your CTE administrators or your instructors. They can fill this information out and give this back to you. So then you can then input that data into CTEIS. And then this is Perkins 5, which has competencies. And these are broken up by program because of the competencies that they provide. So if you click the first one here, for instance, this is going to be an Excel export. And I'm going to show this in just a minute as soon as I get it on my screen. So this is an example of an Excel, a competency instructional design. So if you look down here at the bottom, this is the overview tab. It breaks down the competency and the competency, Perkins Core competency code here. Competency statements. segment to competency crosswalk. There are a few new zip codes, so you can enter in this or review this information, or have your CTE administrator, or your instructors review this information. And then this last here is an example of how that information can be entered in. This is the course, the local class name, so you can enter this information in. And then this here's the actual template. So again, this can be found under the Perkins 5 competency, Perkins 5 competency instructional design, and all of the instructional designs are here. So getting back to our document, once we have our instructional designs, we want to enter the new courses for the upcoming year. And that process consists of renewing previous year courses for the current year, adding new courses, deactivating courses if we're not going to use them anymore, importing new courses using the import templates. I'll show you where that is. And then entering in correct segments or competencies for each course and segment. So again, all of this information is required in the spring, but you can add this information as able going forward. So you want to add new staff, begin adding enrollments as able. And then for the fall course collection, again, that is due to your CPED administrator October 12th. And then the CPED administrator submit that information by October 19th. Just to reiterate again, course and staff is due for fall. Not required at this time is segment and competency profiles, but if you want to start plugging that information in, you can do that. Final staff assignments are not required. Enrollments, work-based learning, and credentials are also not required for this collection period. But again, you're encouraged to start that information as soon as you're able. This here just goes over best practices for data entry. When you start to collect your data for your students and your enrollment, we encourage you to use best practices, develop a system, and stick to that system. We encourage you to use the file import feature. Importing your student records or your course records is highly recommended. And then that you review your data. So CTEIS, when you have mistakes, it doesn't recognize data mistakes. It'll just recognize systematic mistakes. So that's why we encourage you to review your data as much as we can, as much as possible, to make sure that you're entering in the correct information for students and courses. So in talking about the fall enrollment tasks, again, the first topic is manage courses. This here is a document that has all of the topics regarding managing courses. And we're not going to go through all of this information. Again, this document is here for your review, but I am going to demonstrate a lot of this information in the actual demo in just a minute. But just to highlight a few things that I will cover, we're going to scroll back to the top here. The importance of course sections and segments. As you get into putting in your students, you will notice that there's categories of student advancement. So you may see the word enrollee or participant. This is just here to break down what those are. So this is the categories of student advancement for reporting, and this is the categories of student advancement for funding. Getting down to number 2, course sections and subsections. In CTEIS, a course section is referred to as a course, and that is defined by its parent program, location, time, duration, staff, and content. Courses may further be divided into subsections. So as you see the information in the CTEIS application, you will need a zip code, a program type, a time of year, time of day, instructor, and then content. And again, the content isn't due for fall, but you want to input that information as soon as you're able to. Again, talking about the instructional design forms, this is just additional information breaking down what those are. So this is for Perkins 4 and for Perkins 5. And then this is a link again to be linked to the instructional design forms. Once we get into our demonstration, I will demonstrate how to open the Manage Courses page. We'll show how to manually add a new course into CTEIS if it's a new course. And then we'll also show how to import a course. When we get into the CTEIS screens, you will see that when you get into the courses, there are segment and competency panels. So each course have to have, or each course may have segments or competencies tied to them. So there's a panel here where you can indicate what segment or competencies are available for that course. This next section indicates how to navigate the course panel. So it gives the definitions of all of the information that you will see in the panel, the local course name, the course start and end date, the room number, the course section period, virtual delivery mode, the course type, and then again, talking about the segment and competency panels. So segments are groups of CTE program standards that are delivered in CTE courses. Each activated subsection must include one segment of material. So you can plug in, if it's a Perkins 4, you'll see in the panel where you can plug in your segments. Getting down to Perkins 5, this is the competency profile. Again, just like segments, each course has competencies. So you can then plug in the competencies that are attached to the course. If you have CTEIS special cases or course special cases, this is information regarding special cases. FCS programs is an example. How to select dual enrollment or early middle college. I'll show you those panels in just a minute. How to search for courses, and then how to edit courses. We'll show all of these screens in the demo. If you need to copy course information, if you're using a course foundation that has been already created in the system, you can copy course and change information. How to see if a course is active, and then how to deactivate courses. So all of this information on this document is here, and I'm going to show you the demo. We're going to head over to our support site, and our training site in just a moment. I just want to take you through the other documentation before we do that. So that was the Manage Courses document. We're going to demonstrate how to manage staff, but if you want to come back and review this information, it's available in this document. All of the instructions are laid out here, how to manage staff. Again, students, enrollments, migrant students, work-based learning, and credential are not due for this fall. But if you want to get a head start, the documentation is here and it's outlined just like our managed courses that I went over. So you can go through and step-by-step information on how to input student records. Validate and submit your data. This document shows how to submit for the fall course collection. So as a building reporter, I can follow these steps here and submit my data. This is broken down for the fiscal agent, and then the CPID admin is here as well. So fiscal agent and CPID admin, if you have those roles, this is just information on how to submit. As I stated, you may not need data review information currently for the fall course and staff submission, but as you go forward, you may want to review your instructional designs. So the instructional design report export is available. I'll show you where those reports are once we get into our demos, but this is just outlining what the report offers and how the information is broken up. So the way that this document is broken up is how to review course data, how to review student data, and then how to review enrollment data. Okay, so we're going to navigate to our training site now so that I can demonstrate all of the procedures that I kind of outlined. So just give me 1 second to change over my screen. Okay, so on your screen now, you should see the training site. This is at train.cetis.com. I did drop it in the chat. If you want to practice the procedures that we go through this morning, you can do that using your My Login credentials on the train.cetis.com site, and you will not mess up your actual data. So this is just a training module that allows us to practice the techniques without actually messing up our data. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. Again, you do need My Login access to access CTEIS. So over here in the actual CTEIS application, which I'll show you what that looks like. So the actual CTEIS homepage looks like this, and it says log in using My Login. And then all of the information is the same. If you click on the Explore documentation, you'll be linked back to the support site so that you can find all of these reference documents. All of the instructions are here within these links. The due dates are located on the side here, and then just some news and upcoming training information that's here in the center. So this is the actual CTEIS site. We're going to go back to our training site. And we're going to log in. I have been given credentials as a building reporter for this demonstration. So I'm going to log in with those credentials. And as you can see at the top here, I have data entry and reports. If you look over to the right-hand side, this says Test CTEIS because this is a training site. But if you click this, this would be your name over here. If you need contact information as far as your CPID and your fiscal, that information is located in your district list. So up here, this is CPID 18. My CPID is 18. It would have my CPID's name, phone number, and email if I need to reach out to contact. And then the information is here, the fiscal agent name, the buildings. So if I need to contact individuals that I don't have telephone numbers or emails for, just click that link that's your name and you can get your information. This will be useful when you are submitting your reports. CTEIS will attempt to email, say for instance, if I'm a building instructor, it will try to email my fiscal agent when I submit my report. But it might be a good idea, or we would encourage you to reach out to your fiscal agent personally and send an email letting them know, hey, I submitted that report. And the same for the fiscal agent to the CPID. So if you need that information, it's here. So as a building reporter, I have access to enrollment, follow-up, and expenditures. And this is what I was talking about in that documentation of the access levels. So this is the access that I have. So for this demonstration, we're going to go under Manage Courses, but this is all of the screens that are available. Again, going forward, when you're entering in student information, manage students, we're going to demonstrate importing courses and mass course edit and renew. Manage enrollment, again, is a spring topic, but you can go in and input that information as you receive it. Manage staff, we're going to demonstrate. If you want to import student grades as well as enrollment records, you can use this link, credentials, and work-based learning. When we get into the other topics, follow-up, this is the tabs for that, and then expenditures. So we're going under Manage Courses. And the district that I have permissions for is Breckenridge Community Schools. So this is for this demonstration, that's the only access level that I have. So Breckenridge Community Schools, this is all of the courses that are found in Breckenridge High School. So this is my access level. This first button here is to view active courses. If I click this button, I can include previous year courses. So when I click the button include previous year courses, it shows me active courses as well as those that are not active. So for instance, this course here is not active. So these are the courses that are already in the system. I'm going to demonstrate how to input a new course. So to create a new course manually, I will hit this create new course button, and then I'm automatically prompted to select a building. Again, the only building that I have access to is Breckenridge. And then I'm going to select a program. Right now, the only program that is available for this particular demonstration is this Perkins 4 agricultural operations and related sciences. So I would click this, but all of the programs that are available on your end would be listed here. So as we see, this then opens the bottom panel. These classes here are already within the system. I can create a new class by typing in the information here in the panel. The asterisks indicate the information that needs to be entered in order for CTEIS to create a record. So I will need the CSC, which is the course section code. I would need a course name, start, end date, and then the semester type. The room number and course section period is not required, but that might be useful for your records. As you can see here in the panel on the upper half of the screen here, I have room numbers indicated here, the hours. Virtual delivery mode is one that I do have to enter in, so I have to indicate whether the course is virtual, or if it's not virtual, or if it is virtual, blended, or digital. I need to select the appropriate course type. This one is not going to have college credit, but if I did select this, that information would be here. So then I can enter in that information. The panel on the far right is the program information. So this is the zip code. This is the program name. This is a Perkins 4. This is the program serial number, the CPIT, the fiscal agency, the operating agency, and the building. Because this is a Perkins 4, as we can see the segment profile, I can enter in all of the segments that are awarded once I enter in the course information, or all of the segments that are available within the course once I enter in the course information. So this is A, B, C, and D. I can use column A, or if it helps me to put in, for instance, if I do, I can do that. So you would click in that information. Again, this information will be provided by your CTE instructor or your teacher who gives you the course information. I can enter in the staff type. So selecting the staff type, there are different options here. I can type in the search if I have staff name, I can do that. Or I can add a staff by clicking this icon here and entering in a PIC number. And the PIC number is the staff ID number. So I can enter in that number, the last name, indicate male or female. This is the staff type over here. And then once I have that information, I can update that information into the course. So then I would hit the add course button, and all of that information would be added into the system once I fill out all of those fields. If I want to manually edit a course, I would have to go in and select each individual course. I do have the option to do that. So if you find during your data entry for this collection period, if you want to go in and change information, you can do that. So you can type into the fields or change information within the fields and then update course. If you find that you're not going to use the course, if you want to deactivate this course, you can go and select the deactivate course button. If I want to use the foundation of this course information, so I don't have to type all of the information in, so the majority of the information stays the same, I can copy course and then type in the new information and then save that record. But if I go in and copy course, I do have to delete the course that I used as the copy, because you can only have one unique course per section code, course section code. So one CSC. So I'm going to show, again, this is if I want to go in and update courses, course information once that information is in the system, and I want to go in and change. This might be a process that you would do after the due date. Once you get that additional information going forward towards the spring, you will come in and edit course information with the updated information. You could do that. Change staff if you need to change staff, and then update course. If I want to search, if this is a long list and I want to go in and search, I could type in these fields here, or I can sort for each column. I can type in the program serial number if I'm looking for a specific course. And then again, this active button over here will show me all of the courses that I have highlighted now are all active. But if I hit this button, it'll also show the inactive courses. So this is how to enter in, I showed how to do a manual entry of a new course. This is how you do a manual edit of an existing course. I'm going to show you the manage staff screen. So we're going to go down to manage staff, and I'll show you how to manually enter in the staff information. So if you're looking for an existing staff, you can type in the last name or PIC number in the search box. If you want to add a new staff record, again, the asterisks indicate information that is needed to create a record in CTEIS. So you would enter in the PIC number, the first name, last name, middle initial, date of birth is optional. Gender is required. You have a calendar here for expiration date. And if you want to add any notes, you can type in this field. So once you have all that information, you will hit the update staff button and it will create a record. But if I want to look at a current staff record, as we can see here, the PIC number, it says that it's valid and it gives me a date. So this is the staff's PIC numbers. I can jot that information down if I want to add this particular staff member to a course. But if I need to make edits, I can go in and edit the information. And then also, again, hitting that update staff would update the record in CTEIS. Okay, so that information is there for staff members. We're going to go in and show how to edit mass. So if you have multiple courses that you need to edit, again, this may be useful going forward. So once you put in your information for your courses, you can go in and select several courses and then hit the update courses button. So you don't have to type all of that information in. You can change course begin and end dates in here in these fields. If you want to enter in another staff, you can do that. This is editing courses that are already within the system. Semester, if it's virtual, and then high school and college credits. And then all of the information that I enter in this above field here would be applied to these 3 courses. So you want to make sure that that information is the same for the courses that you select here in the bottom. Once you enter in that information, it gives you CTEIS provides warning notices, and just to bring to your attention, if you do enter in staff in this field, it will overwrite the current primary staff. So if that's something that you want to do, you can go ahead and type in that field. Once all of that information is in there, you can update courses, and that record would be saved in the system. So that's if you want to manually edit courses. We're going to go to how to manually renew courses. I'm sorry, do a mass course renew manually. So this is the mass course renew screen. This panel, this whole panel over here, are all courses that can be renewed, that need to be renewed. So as you can see, these dates are old dates over here. So if I look at the course section code, the course name, I can select multiple courses to renew. Maybe not this one, but I can select these courses to renew and then select renew selected courses. What this does is it pushes the course forward, so it renews it for the next year. So if you have several courses as a building reporter that you're just going to be renewing, the information stays the same. You can go in and use this feature. So once you renew selected courses, you will get a success message from CTEIS, and that course popped up over here. So as you can see now, it has a new date. Again, this will be useful for manual entry. If you know the course section code, you can go in and select multiple and just renew if the course information is staying the same. We're going to now demonstrate how to import courses. So if you're going to import courses, you got to select your building. And again, that's the only building that I have access to is the Breckenridge High School. And then CTEIS is prompting me to import my course file. So this is a good opportunity for me to go back to the knowledge base to show you where our import tools are. So if we go back to support.cteis.com, we're going to go to the home screen. You can go down here and click the importing icon. And this is all of our import templates. So for students, for courses, and then this is the file formats for importing students and importing courses. So for today, if I need to review a specific importing courses guide, again, this was in the managed courses document that I showed you earlier, the large one. But if you want just to go over how to import courses with the individual document, this is just a 2-pager. And then this is the file formats for importing courses. So I'm going to change my screen. I click that link and it took me to an Excel export. So just as with the competency, it has the instructions, the example. So when I set up my import file, this is the instructions that I want to follow. So all of the instructions are laid out here. So I just go through and follow these instructions. This is for a Perkins 4 course example, a Perkins 5 that uses competencies example. And then this is the validation and rules for course import. So I want to make sure that the program serial number is valid. Local room, hour, virtual delivery, all of the information that we entered in the manual screen, I have to put that in my import in a specific column. So this is a Perkins 4 import example. This is the CSC. So this is the welding course 1. The program serial number for, again, this is a demo, is 100. The local name is welding 101. Room number, hour, it's not virtual. It's a first semester course. So it gives my beginning and end date. That indicates a first semester. My staff number, which is the PIC number, is here. It does not offer dual enrollment. So there's a no here. So there's no college credit or no high school credit attached. This is a subsection A, and then all of the units. And I can do this for each course section code. And then these other two examples, example 2 and 3, are just design choices. This is your choice. If you want all of your units or your segments to be to the left, you can do that. The example in the top, they're kind of spread out. And then if you want to use both techniques, you can do that. So you can kind of spread them out or stack them. And CTEIS will recognize the entries within the fields. The Perkins 5 example, again, this is that uses, this Perkins 5 uses competencies. So you can see that it says A1, A2. All of this information is indicated. This one is kind of spread out. Again, if you want to use the technique of stacking them, you can, or you can do both. This is, again, just your preference on what you want to see and how it's organized best for you. So I showed you individual, the Perkins 4 as well as the Perkins 5. You can do a combined example import. So it has both Perkins 4 and Perkins 5 in it. So I plugged in all of the information for both types, and it's all here. And then I can use this to import into the system. The last tab here is the actual template. So I can download this, plug in all of my information, and then use this to import. So I have done that for this demonstration. I have filled out my Excel document. So I'm going to go back now and demonstrate how that would look. So import course file. I'm going to select my document. So I have it saved on my computer. So my window popped up for me to select my document. So once I have that document selected, I can open it. And as you can see, these two courses that I have for my example are both indicated here on the screen. So if you look over to the far right, the codes, one course is telling me I can add it, and then the other course is indicating that it's a renew. So this course that is a renew is a course that's already in the system for a previous year. I can input that information and upload it, and it'll renew that course for me because CTEIS recognized that CSC and the beginning and end date, and it's going to renew that information in the system if I include that in my import file. The second course here is a new course, and it's indicated by a darker shade of green. And so CTEIS would create a record because I have all of my information incorrectly. So I have a correct CSC. Again, this is systematically correct. You want to make sure that this is correct for your actual documentation by verifying that with your CTE instructors or your teachers or CTE administrators or your teachers. So I have all of this information. I can hit upload and CTEIS will give me a success message. If, for instance, I had something wrong, so let's say I go back and maybe put it, I have another example here. Okay, well, for instance, if I had another building here, I could select the wrong building and import the file, and it may have an error because the building is incorrect. So you want to make sure that you're verifying the information and you're selecting the correct information to go in. So this is okay for me. If I want to export this, I can hit this export button and this will create an Excel document that I can review the information that's on the screen offline. If I want to save that for my records, I have that option. But I'm going to go ahead and upload these courses. And as you see on the bottom here, it says the course. It gives me the course section code. They have both been updated in the system. So if you create your import file, no matter how long it is, you just want to make sure that the information is accurate. It would CTEIS would be able to import all of these records. I just used an example of 2, but you can have, of course, more than that. And some of you, of course, probably have more than that. So you can import those records and that information will be stored in the system. So now we're going to go through an example of how to run the validation. So again, these other topics, I did the mass course renew, but manage enrollment, student course enrollment import, all of these are topics that will be entered in for our spring collection. So that's why we're not covering them today. If we go down to building course review, as a building reporter, this is what I would select when I'm ready to submit my data for my fall data entry collection. So again, I only have access to one school here. So it shows me my operating agency name is Breckenridge Community Schools. And it's given, CTEIS is giving me the message to please validate. When we say run the validation, if I hit this view button, CTEIS is going to check the information that I have within the system and give me a message. So all of these courses that I have for Breckenridge Community Schools, the CSCs are listed here, as well as the course names, the program serial numbers, the program name, staff, semester type. All of this information has been ran as a check within the system, and it came back as clear. Going forward, if you enter in information that's not accurate, you would get an error message here that would tell you, either a warning would tell you this information is incorrect and you need to address all warnings that you receive. And then, I'm sorry, you need to address errors. If it comes back as an error, you need to address the errors, and then warnings you need to be aware of. So if it's a warning, it may not be wrong systematically, but you need to check all warnings to make sure the information is correct. So this is the screen that would run to make sure there aren't any errors in my data, systematic errors. So as you can see, I can go ahead and complete this building, Breckenridge High School. I have all of my courses in, as well as my staff tied to my course. I can hit the complete button. And now that building is complete at the building reporter level. So as you can see at the building status, there's an X here. I can no longer make edits to this building because I submitted it to the fiscal agent. And this is the process that you want to do before that October 12th date so that you can get that information to your fiscal agent before October 12th. Because the fiscal agent has to submit that information to the CPIT by October 12th. So again, those dates are available, but you want to do this as soon as possible. If I want to export the information that is in the screen, I can hit the export button and it'll create an Excel export that I can review offline, and I can keep that for my records. As I stated earlier in the training, I want to make an attempt to contact my fiscal agent and let them know that I submitted my data. So I would then create an email and let them know that I submitted my building information for their review. So as a building reporter for the fall data and course collection, I would be done at this point. If this is the only building that I have, you have to do this for all of the assigned buildings that you have. So I'm going to log off here as a building reporter and show an example as a fiscal agent with fiscal agent credentials. What happens next? So as we can see, as a fiscal agent, the top menu choices have changed. This is admin now. And as a fiscal agent, I have access to fiscal agent monitoring. So all of the information that I have access to is here. So when the spring collection rolls around, this is the enrollment collection, expenditures, and then reviews are available. My managed users, if you're a fiscal agent and you're in this training, we have training again for fiscal and CPIT coming up the end of this month. I'll show you where that information is. But managed users, I do have access to managed user information here. So that information is here. The reason that the CPIT admin is here is because for this demonstration, I've been granted access to both fiscal agent and CPIT admin. But for right now, I'm going to go under district course review. This will be follow-up review once the follow-up collection comes around. But this is here. We're going to go to district course review. And I can see that the building reporter has submitted that building, Breckenridge High School. So if as a fiscal agent, I want to export or view, I can view that building. And the same information that came up for the building reporter comes up for me. So I can see those courses. And I can export this document to an Excel document and print for my records. If there was something wrong with the data, or for whatever reason I need to return it back to the building reporter, I can hit this return button and it will open that building for the building reporter again. So then they can make edits and changes. But if I'm okay with all of the information, I can hit the complete button. And then now it's closed as the fiscal status. So this is what we mean when we say have the fall course and staff data in by October 12th. This is the process that needs to be done by October 12th to the CPIT. So now I have submitted that report to the CPIT, and I can no longer make edits within this building as well. So I'm going to come out. And I'm going to go under the CPIT admin again, because I've been given those permissions for this demonstration. So I'm going to go under CPIT course review. Now for this particular permissions, I have more buildings available. So I'm just going to go under and find that Breckenridge. And that's the building there. Again, I can return this to the fiscal agent if I need to. I can view as a CPIT, or I can export. Same capabilities as the other two roles. And then when I'm ready to complete this as a CPIT, I would submit this by clicking the complete button. And this would then be submitted to OCTE. And this is what you want to do by October 19th as a CPIT. You want to complete the report, the fall course and staff data. So I'm going to complete that. And now that report is submitted for the fall. And we see all 3 X's here. So all of that information has been submitted. If there's any changes, that would then need to be released by OCTE. Just to show you where the reports are, as I stated, as you go forward, you may want to review reports. I'll log off here and log back in as a building reporter. If you go under the reports tab here, it shows all of the reports available as a building reporter. So we're going to go under building reports. And this is listed by audit reports. So as I start putting in student information, all of the student information is here. I can look at this information and review reports. Program and student report, so student advancement export. I can review this information to make sure that students are going down the right track for advancement. So all of the information is here: special population, program counts, EMC and dual enrollment report. So I can select these reports on the side. And then the last section is program and course reports, the 3-year instructional design report. If you want to review that report to make sure that your programs are doing and hitting expectations, this would be a good report to review. List of courses by building. Again, these reports may not be one that you would use for the fall course and staff collection that's due in a few weeks. But as you go forward and you start to put in additional information for the spring report, you might want to review information. So this is available going forward. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the knowledge base. And I'm going to show some information if we have fiscal agents or CPITs in the training today. If you click on the administrator tab, it'll take you to the home page and you can just click the link. But for fiscal agents, there are there's documentation here, submission processes for the upcoming submissions. So let's say for fall course and staff data, I can look at this information and it tells you how to submit your data to the CPIT. It also outlines the responsibilities as a fiscal agent. This is a document here. So if you want to review that information, it is available. The same for CPIT admin. That information is there. As far as training, the next training for that we have a few more fall data entry trainings. Today's the 19th. We have another fall data entry training. And then we have new user training coming up on the 28th. But if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, this has fiscal agent training as well as CPIT admin training. So that training is combined and it takes place on the 27th. So if you're a fiscal agent or a CPIT admin, please do not forget to sign up for training. Again, September 27th is that date. After those trainings, we go into our new collection period, which is our expenditures training that starts on October 3rd. And then after that, we go into our follow-up, and that starts on October 17th. So you can register by clicking any one of these links, and it will take you to the registration page. If you haven't done so, please do that. This is the training evaluation link. At the end of each training session, we really value your input. So if you would be so kind to fill out a survey, you can access the survey by clicking this link. But once I end the training session, it pops up for you and you can enter in the information. And we do review this information to help improve our training sessions. So that link is there if you need to leave early in any training session. You could access the evaluation from here. So we're going to go back to our fall data entry homepage. And again, all of the information is available here. All of the reference documents are here of the procedures that I went through. How to submit your data. This is as a building reporter, the submission process. It's outlined here. How to run the validation and submit. Again, reports for data review might be something that you want to look at going forward. And then this is training videos. Okay, so we're going to stop sharing. I'm going to go back to my home page here. So we have come to the end of our training session. We have all of the information that we covered today is on support.cetis.com. You can access the reference documents and look through the steps. And all of the information is available. Again, once I end this training, you will be prompted to fill out a survey that's on the performance of the training. We really value all of your responses. So if you would be so kind to fill out that, we really appreciate it. But yes, this concludes our training for fall course and staff data. So we thank you for your time and attention. I will remain on if there's any questions over the material that I covered that you want to maybe you may have a question. I'll remain on for a few minutes. But if you're all set to go, Diana has dropped the link of the survey in the chat. You can click that link to fill it out and you can leave. If not, if you don't mind hanging around, once I end the meeting, it'll automatically pop up. The survey will automatically pop up. But yeah, I'll remain on for a few minutes. Thank you for your time and attention, and we'll see you in the next training session.